The first book I will be getting into today is The Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson. I'm 530 pages out of 1,252, and I'm listening to it with the audiobook, so I'm 42% of the way in, 19 hours, 17 minutes, and 10 seconds in. Not even halfway. Not even halfway. That's as far as I am into it. I am loving this book so far. Oh my goodness. I would have to say Kaladin is probably my favorite character. But I'm only not even halfway through, so we'll see what happens. I would definitely recommend this to fantasy readers who haven't already read this. I honestly would find that surprising if a lot of fantasy people haven't already read this book, but if you love fantasy and you haven't read it, would highly recommend. And if you're trying to get into fantasy, I would not recommend this. This is very high fantasy, very complex. If you're just getting into fantasy, I wouldn't recommend it, but I cannot wait until I'm able to finish it. Next, we have The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexandre Dumas. I am 329 pages out of 1,243 pages, a biggin. Only 9 pages left in The Way of Kings, but it looks way bigger. I have been loving this book. The only reason I put it down a little bit ago, is because the perspective changed. So instead of Dantes, the main character, it's this new person that I'm like, who is this? I don't want to have to get to know them, but I've been feeling the urge to read it, so I'm probably going to pick it up again soon. I'm loving the story. I love the characters, and despite, the convenience of a lot of the characters or just the story in general, I'm still being pretty forgiving because I've been liking it so far. It's a long book and it's pretty highly acclaimed. A lot of people like it. I think it's considered a classic. It is a revenge story. It's an adventure story. It's a low-key a pirate story. And it's great, and I've been loving it, and we will see what my rating is whenever I end up finishing it. Next, we have A Little Life by Hanya Yanagihara. I am only 45 pages in out of 814. It doesn't look that big, but yes, it's 814 pages. This is the second time I will be reading A Little Life. I'm excited to pick up all the little things in the writing that I missed the first time. Since this is my second reread, the last time I read it, I gave it 4 stars. But I'm interested to see if this time I may give it 5 or if it might go lower. I'm not going to go into what the book's about. It's just like a literary fiction, but very, very well written. Oh my goodness, that is the main reason why I'm rereading it, is because of how good the writing is and how good the character work is. Due to the things that make it controversial, that is why I wasn't able to give it 4 stars, because it is intense in the story. And just as a disclaimer for anyone who is interested in reading this book and you haven't yet, if you deal with depression, if you deal with suicidal thoughts, do not read this book. Don't read this book. Jude, one of the main characters, essentially the titular character of this story, he does not want to be alive. So if being in a person's head like that would not be good for you, please do not read this book. Next, I have The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss. And before I talk about it a little bit, I'm going to read the blurb on the back, and I want you to guess who wrote it. Because I couldn't believe it. I was like, huh? But let me read it first, and I'll give you a few seconds to guess. No one writes about economic reality within the genre like Pat Rothfuss. The real-world weight of the sometimes impossible distance between the things you want and need and what you have in your pocket. No one writes about music like Pat Rothfuss. The way it sneaks into your soul, the way it feeds you like nothing else. No one writes about stories like Pat Rothfuss. How the right story at the right time can change the world. How the teller can shape a life. No one writes like Pat Rothfuss. Full stop. Read this book. Who wrote that? Just a few seconds to guess. Okay. It's Lin-Manuel Miranda. I'm just gonna set this over here. The Name of the Wind. This book is 694 pages. I used to work at a bookstore and we had this like fancy collector's edition of it, and it was like $50. It was for 50% off because no one was buying it because of how expensive it was. And then I also got my employee discount. But yeah, there, with it being a collector's edition, it has all these really cool like pictures and illustrations and like different editions. There's that one, sick. And then there's that. And yeah, they're really nice. They're on camera and in this lighting, it looks really good, but like a lot of times reading it, it's so hard to see. This will be my fourth time rereading The Name of the Wind. It's just such a good book, but also because I'm finally going to read The Wise Man's Fear, which is the sequel to The Name of the Wind. This book is 1,000 pages. Oh my goodness. And I bought it years ago and I just haven't read it, mostly because the third one, he hasn't really updated anything about the third one. And recently there have been a few like, oh, it's coming soon, but I honestly don't know. But I'm also trying to move and get through my owned TBR since I really shouldn't be buying extra books. So this one has been on it for a bit, and obviously The Name of the Wind is a great book, so I'm sure this one will be great as well. Next, I'm currently reading, I'm almost done reading Strange the Dreamer by Laini Taylor. I am 418 pages out of 532, and I'm reading it with the audiobook, so I am 78% in the audiobook at 14 hours, 21 minutes, and 57 seconds. This is another book I'm reading for the fourth time. I just love rereading books, and this one is super good. It's an old favorite, and Laini Taylor is an amazing writer. And then, of course, with reading Strange the Dreamer, I'm also going to reread... I'm also going to reread Muse of Nightmares. This is the sequel. It's a duology. Hopefully there's more books that come out, but I know Laini Taylor's next book is an adult novel, and I'm honestly super excited for that. This would be only my third time rereading it, and I don't remember that much about it, and it's a very shiny cover. Wow. Yeah, I don't remember like the main things that happen. I remember like some of the character stuff, of course, but I don't remember like how the story moves. I gave it 5 stars the last time I read it, and I forgot to say earlier, this book is 514 pages, and yes, I wonder if it'll get another 5 stars. I know Strange the Dreamer is for sure getting 5 stars, but I don't know if this one will, so we'll see. Finally, we have The Shadow of What Was Lost by James Islington. This book is 692 pages. I wanted something with a similar vibe to The Way of Kings since I'm reading it with the audiobook with my library, so it's going to be some time before I get that audiobook back because it's a very popular book. But yeah, I wanted something with a similar vibe, and The Shadow of What Was Lost, that is just a lovely title. And yeah, funny enough, on the back, the blurb on the back of this one says, "Love the Wheel of Time. This is about to become your new favorite series." And Brandon Sanderson literally helped finish like the last few books of Wheel of Time. So I think it's funny that this is being compared to something that Brandon Sanderson has worked on. And I've been wanting something similar to Brandon Sanderson. So I'm like, I'm excited, but yes, this is another big one as well. This is the last big book that I will hopefully be getting through this summer. Are you reading any big books this summer? Do you even like big books? Do you like long series? I personally love big books. I personally love big series, even though I'm like a slow reader, honestly. It just gives me more time with the characters and the story, and like you kind of get comfortable. So yeah, I really do like bigger books or just longer series. If you want to see more of me and hear how good of a singer I am, you can check out my music channel, Shy Fighter, and I also have original music under the same name of Shy Fighter. Thank you so much again for watching. Like if you want to like, subscribe if you want to subscribe. I don't know, do whatever you would like to do. Thank you so much again for watching, and I will see you when I see you. Farewell.